Hello and welcome to this short presentation. Today's topic is the Dharma ransomware from the Crysis family. How does it get a toehold into your network? How does it evade detection? How can you actually find it and what must you do to guard against it? So what is this piece of ransomware called Dharma? Well, it's a sophisticated cyber threat that is targeting high value networks. It is most often delivered manually via an attack operator, and they're using RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol, which is a Windows thing, and exploiting leaked or weak credentials. Since this is a manual attack, it's obviously expensive for the attacker, and that's why they're pursuing these high value networks. Sometimes it arrives as mal spam, that is email that is spam, and they use double extensions, which looks like non-executable if you've got default Windows setting, as a way to trick you. In fact, a recent version had an extension of .biden, who of course is the president of the United States. Sometimes it arrives disguised as install files for antivirus or other legitimate software, trying to trick you into actually installing it. How does Dharma work? Well, if the access is via RDP, then there's a human on the other end that's exploiting those leaked or weak credentials. After they get in, almost immediately uninstall antivirus, as we will see in the demo. If they're able to perform the infection, then the Dharma will insert itself into the registry so that it becomes just that much harder to actually disinfect. To inhibit system recovery, Windows restore points are deleted. And this in itself is a MITRE attack tactic and technique that you should be paying attention to. It will then relentlessly look for files on any drive, whether they're fixed, removable, or network, and they will perform encryption. They will, of course, collect computer name and some number of encrypted files according to formats in order to be able to enable the collection of the ransom. And then they'll send these off to a command and control server. Finally, they'll drop a ransom note on the desktop, usually 1 Bitcoin. But then since this is a manual attack, they will adjust the ransom based on what they think is the affordability by the attacked organization and or the criticality of the server. So how did we catch this in real life? Well, first of all, our customer was an MSP that offers infrastructure monitoring to their customers and uses the managed open XDR service in order to do so. They in turn were serving a customer that was in the service industry. And of course, they had done all of the usual things, secured the antivirus, made sure it was up to date, patched, installed a firewall, and all those sorts of things. But they didn't count on the fact that internet facing RDP could be exploited and that credentials were in fact leaked. So what did we detect? When the operator connected in to this victim machine, they dropped a piece of software which ran, and that became a generic low weak signal. You can't get excited every time someone installs something, but it's something to watch out for. And that generated a new software installation back at the Netsurian managed open XDR console. When you combine that signal with the fact that antivirus was uninstalled sometime later, and the number of attack tools arrived with unknown hashes in the download folder of this user, that combination of signals was enough to trigger the hackles of the SOC analyst. And then, of course, we escalated to the MSP with details, who then was able to promptly quarantine and reimage the infected machine. Notice here that all of the defenses that they had in place were really not effective, couldn't have caught this. And it really took someone in the SOC paying attention to, relatively innocuous software install, software uninstall type of commands to sort of catch this. So here's the flow. The attacker purported to be RDPing in from some location in the Netherlands. We don't know that he was actually in the Netherlands. He might have been somewhere else. But the public-facing RDP servers had accounts which had been found in pastebin. And so what does the attacker do? They perform an installation after they're able to get in. And this in turn is what triggered that alert back up to our SOC and started to pay attention to it. What's the first thing they do? Use the Revo uninstaller. This is a popular uninstaller. It's used to clean up, some of these uninstalls that aren't clean and they leave traces and patches around. There's a free version of it, they're abusing it, and they used it to uninstall the legacy antivirus. And then, of course, they dropped a bunch of tools, including Mimikatz and Mimilove and fake drivers like IKEA 32 and so on. They executed commands in order to manipulate the Windows firewall. First of all, made sure RDP was enabled, and then downloaded other attacks from GitHub, and then finally turned off the firewall completely. Moved laterally because they had gotten into that machine. They used the tools that they had downloaded into the download folder, PSPS exec, and then tried to distribute this to other machines inside the network. Last but certainly not the least, they uninstalled the VSS admin, the Windows restore point, in order to inhibit system recovery. Of course, they tried to clear their tracks, but this really didn't do them a whole lot of good because this system was reporting into the managed open XDR console. But you can see how if you thought your defenses were up to snuff and you weren't paying attention to all of these things, software piece being installed, uninstalled, remote commands occurring, then this would have been super effective and stealthy. They would have uninstalled themselves, deleted all of their tracks, and you wouldn't know where from this attack had come. You'd just merely see the ransom note, and then Bob's your uncle. So how do you protect against Dharma? First of all, use strong passwords. These people are trying to exploit weak passwords or leak passwords. So if you see stuff in Pastebin or on the darknet, in any case, you should be using strong passwords. Is it necessary really to expose to the internet something that's RDP? It might be because we're living in the age of the coronavirus. Well, if you do, well, you could do a few things. You could change the RDP port from 3389, which is the default. They're scanning for it. And so if it's something else, they may not detect it. You could enable and should enable network level authentication. You can secure that RDP instance to accept connections only from known IP addresses, people that need to get in, not the whole wide world. And of course, patch, because that's something that the bad guys exploit. Still using traditional antivirus that doesn't catch, some of this kind of stuff, but think about upgrading to next gen EDR as part of the Open XDR service. We do offer endpoint protection, and it's deep learning based and it can do a lot more than your signature based antivirus. Except that at some point you are going to get breached. And so then, is your backup strategy robust? Have you tested it? If push came to shove and you really couldn't recover this machine at all, would you be able to recover it from archives? And then, of course, the main thing, XDR. You notice how in this instance, an alert analyst looked at something innocuous like a new software being installed, combined it with the fact that antivirus was uninstalled and there were new EXEs emanating from this machine in order to make that a correlated signal that you got something evil going on here and then escalate. XDR is essential for protection, for detection and response. Hope this was useful.